Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this broadcast launch of our new companion PULS in Briefs. I'm speaking to you today from the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of this land and acknowledge the enduring connections to country that they hold. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend these respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who may be watching this broadcast. These two in-briefs are in direct conversation with each other to take a closer look at how people experience family problems in Victoria. The first in-brief, Prevalence and Impact of Family Problems, discusses how Victorians are affected by family problems. The second, Resolution and Outcomes of Family Problems, looks at how and if Victorians resolved these problems. Both extract key insights from the Public Understanding of the Law survey, which you can learn about more on our website. I'm joined today by my colleague Yolanda Mansfield, Senior Researcher at Victoria Law Foundation and author of the In-Briefs, to take us through the key findings. Yolanda, could you start by sharing a bit of a background on these family problems publications and what you looked at?
Yeah, certainly. These in-briefs extract data from the Victoria Law Foundation's Public Understanding of Law survey, which was a large-scale face-to-face survey into how Victorians understand, experience and navigate everyday legal issues. One of the problems we looked at in PULS, which is the survey for short, was family problems, and these are sort of defined as problems basically relating to relationship breakdown, child access custody issues, across the spectrum to issues around powers of attorney and deceased estates. One of the many things that PULS found that while less common than other legal issues, family problems were complex, had high severity and had high levels of unmet legal need. These in-briefs provide a closer look at family problems and an accessible entry point into understanding how Victorians experience, navigate and resolve these problems.
So what are the key findings from these publications?
Well, we found out quite a lot about how people experience family problems, and I'm sure that some of this information won't come as a surprise to some of the services out there watching the broadcast. Family problems are not the most common legal issue, but they are the most severe. They also tend to be the type of problems that seem to drag out. So in a lot of cases, I think about 50% of family problems had still been unresolved or ongoing after a period of 5 years. They also bring about a lot of adverse consequences for people who experience them. So 95% of people reported experiencing stress, 79% had family relationships damaged or breakdowns, and over half faced harassment, threats or assault. There are also certain groups that were more likely to experience family problems, and these were more likely those that had were linked to socioeconomic issues. So, for example, financial distress, mental distress, single parents, or those with disability. 3/4 of those with family problems also experience other multiple legal issues that co-occur, and most commonly these co-occurred with housing, debt, government payments and consumer problems. Finally, family problems are often perceived as legal. So I think we found about 58% of family problems were perceived as being able to be resolved through legal means. This translated into high use of legal-based services, particularly courts and tribunals and mediation services. However, despite this high use of legal services, there was still a very high unmet legal need, around about the 70% mark. And this basically results with long-lasting impacts and widespread dissatisfaction with outcomes. So with these findings, you can see there's a clear need to support better access to justice for Victorians experiencing family problems.
So finally, now that we have this data that identifies the problems that people face when experiencing family problems, what should our next steps be?
Okay, so these in two briefs provide data-based evidence that can help researchers, services and policymakers understand prevalence, impact and resolution of family problems in Victoria. Our goal is that they can be used to inform service design, identify unmet need, support advocacy and guide further research into access to justice. This could look like, for example, integrated legal and social support to address underlying causes from housing security to financial distress, or alternatively, timely, affordable and accessible legal help that prioritises resolution before problems escalate. There are many ways to create positive change and improve access to justice, and we hope that this research can support those endeavours.
Thank you so much, Yolanda, for taking us through these new in-briefs. There's plenty to think about and how this research can inform what we do next to support those experiencing family problems. For those watching, these companion publications are now available to view and download from our website. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to sharing more of our research with you soon.